at y'all. You guys are prompt and punctual. Look at that. Coach.
What's up, Chewy?
What's going on?
How we
How
doing?
much, man?
Doing all right. This cat's bugging the hell out of me, though.
We've been locked up too long. It's fighting this cat.
He wants to go outside with the wife. Cat, she doesn't go outside, but she likes going out there when somebody else is out there. It's a pain in the butt.
You guys been doing okay?
Hanging in there.
Yeah, man. How about you, Marcus?
Woo! I mean, it's an adjustment. We have a lot of special ed paperwork we gotta do. We're still running ARDs and stuff, so it's a adjustment for sure. But it's not bad. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah. I'm not a desk job type of guy. It's been tough.
That's why I'm where I am.
Coach, we're not there yet, man.
What is your day like, Coach?
Get up about 7:30 and read the paper, get on the computer, feed the dogs, do whatever I need to do. This morning I bought some covers for my speakers. So I replaced my speaker covers in my home stereo. So
Nice.
Man, that's
always finding something to do.
big day right there.
I only got one done, so I gotta get the other one done.
You sound a little bitter there, Joseph.
Man.
I just want to say thank you guys for jumping on. I appreciate you guys.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
So we got Coach Bernal at Antonian High School and Coach Joseph Martinez of Lanier. Martinez. So first off, with this whole COVID-19 situation, you guys holding up okay?
Pretty much. The only thing really contact with school that I have, I mean, I try and text the kids because we're in a group text, so try and keep in touch that way.
Joseph?
Man, I'm bored. Stuck at home is something else, but I just busy at school, man. We're real busy with Google Classroom. This is my third meeting today.
Yeah.
But we're real active. We work out with our kids in the evenings.
Yeah.
Monday through Thursday at 6. So I got another one later today. We're just trying to, keep in contact with these kids, man, because everybody's struggling right now.
For sure. And Brewer made a good point the last time we talked. He said everybody's in the same boat, right? I mean, nobody really knows how to really navigate through it. This is brand new for all of us. I know. This is my third one today too. We had an ARD at 9:30 in the morning, and then met with my basketball boys at noon.
Okay.
And then this one here, and so
so
living in front of the computer screen has become the norm, I guess. You guys been binge watching anything on Netflix?
I've been watching Grimm. We have like the first 3 seasons, and we got to get the next 3. So we're almost done. Well, we're done with season 1 and 2, so starting season 3 already.
Nice. I've never seen Grimm. I've never watched it. You, Joseph?
Yeah, I actually got a start Netflix. Never been not much of a TV guy, but I finished the Narcos, the Colombia one, and now I'm doing the Narcos Mexico one.
Nice.
That's my task once my daughter goes to bed.
You can't be watching this when you go upstairs.
No, it's not for her.
I know. We just finished. Ozark was pretty good. Season 3 was really good. Let's talk a little bit about childhood. And it doesn't really matter who goes first. Just growing up, what was it like, and the influences along the way that sent you down this path of coaching and educating young people. But just in general, what was it like growing up for you guys?
You want me to go first?
Go ahead, Chewy.
Well, I'm a lot older than most of the guys around, so I grew up. I was born on the west side of San Antonio, and we moved to, I guess, the northwest part of San Antonio when I was maybe 2 or 3. So I grew up over in the Delview area between West Avenue and Vance Jackson. Mm-hmm. Went to St. Gregory's for 8 years. So I didn't go to public school until I got to Lee High School. And just growing up, being involved my dad definitely made sure that I was involved in athletics. I mean, per se, CYO way back when. And I even played Pop Warner football as well. But CYO at St. Gregory's, we started when we were 5, 6 years old, all the way up to 14. So, I mean, it was baseball, basketball, running track, swimming. I mean, you name it. I was involved in all those things, and I credit that to my father, who ended up being assistant coach for a lot of those things. So I think that's kind of where the bug got me. Originally, when I went to college, that wasn't the number one thing on my list. It was being a pharmacist. But going to University of Houston and taking organic chemistry changed my mind real quick when that happened. So, but yeah, I give my dad a lot of credit for kind of my secondary choice, and I've never looked back. You know, I owe him a lot. I owe both my parents a lot.
That's awesome. Joseph?
And I grew up, you know, I'm from the hood, so I grew up in the West Side, man, right next to the Castellano courts, you know, Laredo, South Hamilton area. My brothers and I, we lived there with my mom. Grew up there. Spent a lot of time in the courts because, you know, so all my friends were at. We went to go play basketball all the time. But, you know, we started playing basketball. My brother and I was in the 3rd grade. My brother Josh was in the 4th grade. We started over at used to be called West End. Now it's called, I believe, Frank Garrett Center.
Okay, yeah.
You know, so that's where we first started, man, with Spursley. You know, with my PE coach from elementary, he started that up.
I worked at West End for like about 7 or 8 years out of high school during the summers at the Parks and Rec program every summer.
Nice.
That was different.
Yeah, that area is different, man. That area is different. It belongs to us now. That's Lanier area. It used to be Fox Tech. But yeah, I grew up right there, and then from, you know, went on to Tafoya and then Lanier High School. From there, but you know, basketball's always been a big part of my life and, you know, my brothers. So that kept us out of trouble. For any people familiar with that Laredo, South Hamilton area in the courts, man, it was rough back in the 90s. That was a rough spot, man.
Absolutely.
So yeah, basketball kept us away from all that craziness.
That was what I was going to ask. Basketball kind of steered you away from a lot of that.
Oh yeah, man, that's true. You know, back then, you know, gangs were legit back then. We saw all of it. We saw a lot of stuff. You know, stuff, you know, young kids shouldn't be seeing, but
yeah,
you know, for some reason it never really got to me and my brothers. We always just played. They always left us alone, which, you know, I'm grateful for now, you know. But no, we just, there was always basketball at the park, at school, outside, man. We used to have those milk carton crate. That was our hoop.
I remember those days.
On the telephone pole, and then we had a milk carton on one of our trees.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we progressed to the court up on the wall on the side of the house until we finally got our own hoop. You know, we finally got our hoop, and it was on from there, man.
Made you appreciate it, though. I mean, you appreciate
Oh,
it.
yeah. That milk carton hoop, though, man, that makes it work.
If you make a ball inside of a square, you end up becoming a pretty good shooter.
Yeah, that telephone pole's your backboard, so, you know, you got to work.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your journey, I guess, in the coaching world and moving up in the ranks. What was that like for you guys?
I started, as a matter of fact, and a lot of people know, but there's some people that don't. My first coaching job, and I'm talking about high school, was at Antonian High School in 1978. I got back from University of Houston in 77 and didn't finish there. I figured I needed to come home to UTSA and finish. So I was in school, but I was getting ready to do my student teaching. I didn't have a whole lot left. And I thought way back when that I needed to get a little football knowledge. I mean, I played when I was little, but I wanted to try and learn a little bit coaching, since that's what I was going to do. And I went and volunteered my time. I was working teaching PE at Holy Spirit, and I guess before that, the semester before that, I was at St. Paul's doing the same thing. So going to Antonian and asking if I could volunteer my time, those guys kind of jumped on that, and so I was able to get in, and I was coaching football, assisting and trying to learn, and they got me driving the bus, and one of the coaches left, and so they ended up giving me his position.
Nice.
And so I started getting paid, even though I hadn't even finished graduating yet. So that year, I coached football, basketball, and baseball, assisting in all three. I made $500 per sport.
Man.
So then I ended up graduating that following spring semester, and got my degree, and they hired me as a teacher. So I did the same thing. I was still assistant football, basketball, and baseball, and teaching, and I made a whopping $9,000 doing all of that.
Oh man!
So when you guys start thinking about salaries, just think about that $9,000.
That's tough.
Wow.
My wife and I just got married, so I mean, I think back about that, and everybody got to start somewhere, and I think I got a good starting level there, and I was there for one more year, and then I went to West Campus. Well, take that back. I went to South San ISD and doubled my salary, moving from private to public. And, so again, my second year of teaching after graduating, I was making $18,000, and I went to Dwight Middle School for 6 months, and then I moved over to West Campus when they had an opening, and I was there 3 years as an assistant, football assistant, and basketball assistant. And after 3 years there, the Lanier job came open, and the head football coach from West Campus was interviewing for that job, and so he asked me if I'd be interested in going over there. And my dad graduated there in '43, and all my uncles and aunts went there, and I mean, they grew up right next to Lanier High School. So for me, it was like, oh hell yeah, I'll definitely count me in. So that kind of took me there.
How long were you at Lanier?
31 years, from '83 through 2014.
31 years. That's
Antonian for 6 years. I wanted to be a head coach still, but there was nothing available at the time, and so I didn't want to sit and do nothing, and I wanted to be involved in basketball. And so Coach Vargas gave me the opportunity to be an assistant there at Antonian, and I jumped on that, and there for a year and a half, and he decided he wanted to leave mid-December of my second year there, and I took over at that point. And been there since.
with both of y'all on the same bench, that's a whole lot of wins on one bench. What's it been like for you, Joseph?
Man, it's been good, man. When this school year comes to a close, this will be 12 years for me. This will be 12 years. So I've done 6 as an assistant there at Lanier under Coach Bernal, and then this past basketball season completed my 6th season as a head coach. So 12 overall.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like as far as you two guys when you worked together? Having a former player on your staff who's already familiar with what's expected.
I've been lucky enough to be able to do that 2 times now.
Mm-hmm.
And at Lanier, I had Joseph assisting me, and I also had Martin Cardenas assisting me.
Yep.
So it was nice. It's very nice when you have people that know what you're doing, know the system, and can help get the students, your athletes, to understand that. And especially, I'm a little bit older than most of the other guys, and so having young guys helping me makes a big difference as well. So I've been blessed to be able to have guys that play for me in those positions.
It definitely sounds like a blessing. Joseph, what was it like coming from the other side?
Yeah, man, it was, of course, a big learning experience, big learning curve. But like when you go back, like Coach said, like I knew the X's and O's part. I knew what was expected. So from a coaching standpoint, I knew what to say. I knew how to talk to the kids because I knew what their jobs and roles were. But, just learning, when I was an assistant for Coach Bernal, I did 3 years as a freshman coach. And then I did 3 years as a JV coach. So, it was, I really enjoyed freshman. I really enjoyed freshman. And I remember when I first got there, he's like, school's about to start my first year. He's like, do you know what you're going to do next week in athletics? And I was like, no. But, the whole time I was there under coach, he helped me out, every year. And we worked together. And I told him, my goal is always, just get them ready for you.
Yeah.
And just get these guys rolling. But I really enjoyed the freshman level, teaching those guys, from day one. They're coming to us from middle school. They don't know any other place.
Yeah.
I enjoy teaching them, everything and helping those guys get ready. And then, when the JV spot came open, he was like, you need to come up. And honestly, I really was enjoying freshman. But he's like, no, you need to come up. And I was like, okay, sure. So I go up to JV. And, there's a difference in coaching. Competition steps up a little bit. But then, it's also a little harder because, the better players are going to be on varsity.
Yeah.
So team B team, the better players go to A. But, so, you gotta work, man. You got to work with what you got. But, it was a challenge. And I realized why he wanted me, to move up. But, just being with him on the sideline, working with him all the time, it was cool, man. I really enjoyed it. Learned a lot.
Nice.
He would always tell me, he's like, I'm going to let you do this. I'm not just talking about, in practice or on the sideline at ACC. Just throughout the day, man. It's like, listen. He's like, come here, I'm going to let you do this. I'm going to let you do this. And at first, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm a new teacher, so I'm trying to get mine, do all my things and all he wants me to do his stuff. But, it wasn't very long why, for me to figure out why he was telling me I'm going to let you.
Yeah.
This, and then, of course, we all knew when, his time was up, when he was ready, he knew he was going to retire. So that last year, it was big. He really showed me the ins and outs and expectations and everything of a head coach. And, he was always pulling me over, come over here, look at this. And see, this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
How you going to handle this? You got to be ready for this. It's all year long. And, very appreciative of that. And, it helped out a lot. But, he was coaching me the whole time. He was coaching me the whole time I was there. We worked great together. We always talked before the game, what the rotation was going to be like, first and foremost. What's the rotation for tonight? What are we going to try to do on offense? Okay, because, everybody knows what we're doing on defense.
Yeah.
What are we going to try to do on offense? What are we going to try to, and we always, sometimes.
Lots of times it didn't matter what we were doing on defense or not. So,
so especially, he's a fair guy. If a kid had a great week in practice, he made it known to me. He's like, hey, give that kid a shot.
Yeah.
He's worked. Let's put this guy. Let's give him a shot. See what he can do. Or if a kid did not have a good week of practice, he's like, don't let him, leave him on the bottom.
Quick hook.
No, we worked good together. We communicated very well. And it helped me, a lot of stuff we did, I do now. with my staff,
Yeah.
and keep that teamwork going.
I have no idea what you guys run on defense at all.
That's the good thing about running what we do is that it's hard to prepare for it if you don't know how to put it out and practice against it.
Yeah.
To me, that was just as important as what we were doing defensively.
Yeah.
People didn't know exactly what we're doing, where things were coming from, when they were coming. But desire-wise, tenacity-wise, no question, Lanier groups were far and above the better group when we're talking about defense.
So what was for Coach Bernal? Thinking back during those times, I guess your keys to success that allowed you to pull that out of your kids. Joseph, you do a really good job too with your guys, getting them to play that style. What are some things you thought were helpful for you?
For me, we didn't really do that the first 15 years I was at Lanier because I didn't have the kids to do it with.
Mm-hmm.
The last 15, 16, 17 years, we started to do it. But there were times when I had 6'2", 225, 230 kids that we couldn't do it with those guys. And so, I'm not the kind of coach that's going to be stubborn and say, this is what we do, we're going to do it. You got to be smart enough and understand what your kids can do and what they can't do. Keep the other team guessing as to when it's coming. After a timeout, after you get 3 or 4 steals in a row and they call timeout, and okay, it's time to switch. We're going to do something different this possession. You try and play those kind of strategic games and outthink the other guy. So,
Sure.
I thought I had kids smart enough to do that, hungry enough to do it all the time. I don't think there was a team we ever played that was in better shape than we were. And I attribute that to my assistant coaches and the kids understanding that if we played that way, we would have a chance to win every game we played in.
Joseph?
Yeah, with this defense, you just, like Coach said, you do got to have the personnel for it. But, since he's left, I obviously, when I was a student athlete there, I played through that. And in the 6 years I was an assistant, we had solid groups for the most part, and we stayed with that defense. So that was definitely a goal of mine to stick with that defense, the run and jump. This past season, I was able to get, with the group I had, we were a little bit more effective with the run and jump. But it's just something, man, you got to commit to. Coach told us, he would tell me, back when I was a student there, and even when I was the assistant, man, he's like, if you're going to do it, you got to do it.
Yeah.
And you got to commit to it. You got to understand that, one, you are going to give up layups. You are. And it's going to happen. You just got to commit to it. And you got to practice it and continue to practice. And, I still do it, the same way. We practice it daily, every single day, whether it's scrimmaging or in small groups. We're going to practice it every day. These kids got to get used to it. And it's just teaching them all the little things, man, the little tricks to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just something you got to commit to. It takes a lot of work. You got getting these kids to be comfortable to get beat off the dribble, and teaching them it's okay, because if you're still chasing, even though he got by you, he's under pressure because you're right behind him. But teaching these kids and nowadays, you're guarding someone full court and the ball handler gets by that defender, that kid's gonna put his head down like, damn.
Stops chasing. Yeah.
Damn, heard he got me. But no, it's not over yet. So, teaching these kids that you just got to stick with it. And now it's a chase game, and now you chase. But it's just commitment, man, and we've been trying to stick with it this past season. We got better. I think we have a chance to be solid with it next year again. I'm going to have some kids that run, and they can. So I think we'll be solid defensively again next year.
Well, I'll say playing against it as a player when I was a kid, and then trying to coach against it, they're both tough. I mean, it's when we play Lanier, we don't always know when it's coming. We just know it's coming at some point. And like you said, it's not the easiest thing to recreate daily in practice, right? How do you practice against it when you don't run it all the time, and to be able to do it in practice as effectively as the Vokes tend to do it year in and year out. So it makes it tough for a coach planning and trying to scheme for it, and which is why we always keep you guys on the schedule. It's fun.
But to me, I like playing the best teams that you can play because that's the only way you're going to get better.
Absolutely.
You're not going to get a whole lot better playing teams that you're going to beat by 30. It's not going to help you.
Joseph and I, every time it's time to reschedule, I think we're one of the first ones that each other protect. Hey, are we going to keep this game? I want to keep this game. And so we always make sure we try to have the Vokes on schedule just because I know the atmosphere, going to Lanier or them coming to McCollum. Both teams are going to play hard. They're going to try to make us uncomfortable with their defense. And for me, like you said, I think that helps us more than anything is playing teams like that, and they're going to get in our stuff, and we have to learn how to deal with that. And so it's always good to do that. Now that we're not in the same district anymore, make sure that we have those non-district games scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
You were an assistant for both of y'all for a while, and you Joseph served under Coach Bernal. But what are some things that you would tell a young coach getting into the business? Some advice, maybe, as far as becoming an assistant, what to expect. What is he or she looking at getting into the game?
I'll let you go first, Joe.
Even as an assistant, man, personally, what type of coach do you want to be? Are you going to be that coach that's, buddy and friendly with every athlete that you have? Or are you going to be that hard-nosed coach that, hey, when your kids walk into that gym, that they know and they see you, they know it's time to get serious and don't play around. So what type of coach do you want to be? You can be structured. Boom, boom, let's go. Or you're going to be relaxed, or everybody, hey, coach, and just, you got chit-chat, hang around for a little bit. And then as an assistant is, support and figure out what your head coach wants. Support that head coach. What does he want? What does he expect, in practice and in the games? Help your head coach's job be a little easier. Help out his day, help him out. Getting ready, man. Just getting everything and all the kids on the bus.
Yeah.
That could be a task in its own, man. Like, where are the kids at? Where, they're supposed to be in the locker room, but you got sub over here on the phone. You got this one over there trying to call his girlfriend. This one's over there with mommy. Trying to get all the equipment, the camera, the equipment bag, the trainer bag. As an assistant, you got to help out. Help the head coach out, and because man, game day. Once after school comes, your mind's racing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got all these things going on in your head. You're ready for the ball to go up, and you still got 3 hours till tip off. So as an assistant, man, what type of coach do you want to be? And help out your head coach.
A little different being in the situation I'm in now. I definitely relished the fact of when I was in the public school situation at Lanier, of having all my assistants there all day. So, communication was a lot better. Where I'm at now, I'm the first one there. I'm the last one to leave. I get everything ready because, again, we're in a situation where my guys are part-time.
Yeah.
And they don't get there when I do. I would tell young guys that are interested in being or that are going to be an assistant coach, they need to understand, do you want to be a head coach? If that's what you want to do, then you need to know what it takes to be a head coach. You need to know the time. You need to know all the things involved, because there are a lot of things that people don't think about.
Mm-hmm. That's good stuff. Thinking back, early 2000s, when you guys went to state, back-to-back state appearances at Lanier, you guys ended up beating Dallas Lincoln.
Yeah.
What was that like as far as the prep? What was the preparation going into that game? Do you remember? What was your game plan? You got Chris Bosh on the other side. What were you talking about?
I'll let Doug talk about that, so he can give you a player's perspective, and I'll give you mine after he does.
What do you remember, Joe?
What I remember right off the bat is that, there was a gap in between our game, the session, the mid-session, we were the night session. So we got to shoot around. And all along, he's telling us, we'll have one side, Lincoln got the other side. And here, he's on to make sure you stay on your side, keep your balls, blah, 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 blah. But we end up having the whole court to ourselves. They didn't even show up.
Wow.
Off the bat, man, our group, those 2 years, to me, what sticks out the most is, man, we were mentally tough. We were mentally tough. So, coach, like I said, he was telling us we got one side on when we go shoot around at the Aaron Center. So when we realized we have the whole floor, we didn't even say much. We just started looking at each other. We're like, all right, we got the whole court. They don't even want to come shoot around. But we just looking around. We're like, all right, okay. They don't need to shoot around before a big game. So we right out, man, attitude, everything started clicking. So, we're going through our shoot around, whatever. And then we go back to the locker room. And was it that one where we're like on the same side and we came out, we had to walk right by them?
They were lined up in the hallway on both sides of the hallway when we were going out to the gym before we started, and they just kind of stared us down.
So we go back to the locker room, right? After we have the whole floor to ourselves. Coach, he let, we do our thing. Coach lets us have it, we talk. And he's like, all right, let's go to the tunnel. And so we didn't know. We're going out to the tunnel. We're like, oh, damn. So here they are. They're here now. And then, like you said, they lined up in that hallway. And we just walked right by them, like, okay. And they were right there just staring us down the whole time. Everybody got quiet. Kids in the hallway, they goofing, they laughing, messing around, whatever. And we could hear them. We didn't know who it was until we walked by. We're like, oh, shoot, that's Lincoln. We're like, okay. And then we're like, we're tough, man. We're mentally tough. And so once we get by them, we're in the hallway, we're waiting for them to give us the green light to run onto the floor. We were away from them. And so, we start talking amongst ourselves. We're like, all right, we're going to get these dudes. We're going to pop them. They think they're big, whatever. They didn't come shooting around. Then they want to look at us the way they did in the hallway. So, we're like, all right, juices were flowing, man. And we're ready to go. And he was, told us game plan, Bosh is everybody is like, you just got to be physical. Body him up, push him, move him with your body. And I remember, him, coach, saying that a lot. Then they had the one guard, Hopkins. And this guy was just super athletic. And I don't even know. I don't remember what he said about him because that dude was just way too athletic for all of us. But, we just had to go out and play. And it was a hell of a game, man.
Coach?
I know Joseph will remember this. This is way back when. And so getting stuff on huddle and all that stuff, we didn't do that because there was no huddle.
Yeah.
We were still watching stuff on video. There was no DVD either. Now, we did get DVDs after the fact, but I had a coach send me a video of the game they lost to Lincoln in the regional final. I called him on the phone and said, hey, Coach, we're getting ready to play these guys. Would you consider sending me your video of your game? I mean, I did that. That was the Saturday of the regional final.
Yeah.
So Saturday night, I was on the phone, and he sent it to me on Greyhound. That was the big thing when we were scouting. People would send me stuff on Greyhound, and I'd go pick it up instead of in the mail, because then you had to wait several days.
Yeah.
This way it was over. So we watched video, and 30 minutes of pregame was dunk after dunk after dunk after dunk.
Yeah.
Every guy on that team was dunking the ball, and I made these guys watch that for quite a while. And I just told them, I said, "There's nobody going to get dunked in this game. We're not giving up anything." I said, "You guys have probably played better teams than what you're getting ready to play." I mean, we played some stout teams. We saw teams. We played in the Las Vegas Holiday Prep Classic. We got invited to go play in December of that year. We were in the platinum bracket. There was 68 teams in this tournament. So we were in the top 16. Whoa. The top two teams that played in the championship of our bracket were Oak Hill Academy and Mater Dei out of California.
Yeah.
They played in the championship game. We played Bishop Gorman out of Las Vegas. They were ranked number 12 in the country. The first game of the tournament. Tubby Smith and all these guys are in the stands. Tubby Smith, Kentucky at the time. And we ended up having a chance to win in regulation, and we didn't. And we ended up losing in overtime to the 12th ranked team in the country. And they were huge. They were athletic, but we played the way we played. We played in a tournament maybe 2 weeks before that at Cornerstone. Played Tracy McGrady School.
Mount Zion.
Mount Zion out of North Carolina. They had 10 guys on the roster that were 6'8" or bigger.
How many?
10. And they were good. And, we had no fear. The guys had no fear. It didn't matter who we played. We were going to play. But we come out and we're playing these guys man to man. Jarrett Jack, 6'4" point guard. I mean, he's taller than anybody on our team. And there's 6'8", 6'10", 6'11" on the backside of the 2-3 zone. And we're playing a man. So during the timeout, I told these guys, I said, "Hey, don't give him." I said, "Tell them, hey, we're guarding you guys, man, and y'all can't guard us, man." And sure enough, we got him to guard us man to man, and we ended up hitting a shot at the buzzer or after the buzzer. Josh hit a shot, left his hands after the buzzer, and we lost, I think, by 1 or 2.
So they didn't count the shot.
Didn't count it.
Yeah.
So we lost. And, guys took it hard because we felt like, we played with these guys. They're supposed to be one of the best teams in the country. And that kind of made us think, down the road, we're going to see teams, we get to the playoffs, and they're not going to be anything like we're already seeing right now.
Yeah.
So to me, that was as important as anything.
So when you got to Dallas Lincoln, they were already fearless.
Yeah. It didn't matter. I mean, we had 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday shoot around to talk about Dallas Lincoln. And, Brian Hopkins, he was a 6'1" kid with a 44 vertical, went to SMU, good player. Chris Bosch, at the time, 6'10", 6'11". The thing we talked about him was, and the way we play, we're not going to let the ball go inside. And we got a lot of practice when we play Sam, and Sam Houston's got all these big guys, and we're going to front, we're going to play the backside. And after the first quarter and a half of the game, when you take it away, they stop looking.
Yeah.
And, so we were all about that. We're not going to let the ball go in the post easy. if you're going to get it in, you're really going to have to work. And we're going to jam the passer. We're going to make things really hard on you. We're just not going to allow it. Even a high-low situation, we're not going to allow you to get in a high-low situation. So we ended up, and Joe, I don't know if you remember this, Chris Bosh fouled out midway through the fourth quarter with 4 offensive fouls, spreading the floor. And we made some of the big guys have to chase us. I mean, that was the game plan. We wanted for him to sit as much as we could get him to sit, get him in foul trouble, get their best players in foul trouble, and just harass and get after people. And we were able to do that. And they never had the lead in that game. They tied it up with 14 seconds left, I think, or 10 seconds left. And one of the things we always did, and I still try to do it, is we like to get the ball out. If once other teams score, we want to get it in our hands, out of the net, out and in within a second and a half.
Yeah.
So Joe's running down the floor like we do in our secondary break, and we get the ball. Martin brings it in. He passes it to Josh. Josh passes it up the floor. We get a layup within 3 or 4 seconds after they scored to tie it up. So now we're back up 2.
You scored, Joseph? You scored the layup?
Yep. I caught it. Closed my eyes.
I still see that. I mean, I can visualize a lot of things that happened during that game.
So it was a big memory. It's a huge memory for you guys. And how did they react to y'all's jump and y'all's toughness and your grit? I mean, how did they respond to that, Joe?
Man, I think they're a little surprised, man, because we're little. You know, with the size they had, you know, Chris Bosh, who was tall and athletic, you know, and coordinated, I think they were just surprised, man. We came out ready to go. We knocked down some shots right off the bat. Like Coach said, we never had a big lead. For sure never got to double digits. But we led just about the whole game, man. And we kept every time they came back, we had an answer for them. You know, we did a good job running offense with that group. We were patient. Coach always told us to be patient, and run it. And we did a good job. I was able to knock down a couple of shots that game. Like Coach said, we didn't allow them to dunk. They had no dunks that game. We slowed them down. But I think just, you know, our mental toughness, man, we were ready to go. That game, everything was rolling for us. We were clicking both sides of the floor.
Nice.
You could tell their frustration levels just kept going higher and higher. And we were getting those guys off their game plan. It became a little personal. It's very chippy. A lot of stuff on the side. You know, like Coach said, we're cutting, you know, and they were more focused on tripping us or body checking us than they were actually guarding us.
Yeah.
We already knew that. We know how to react to that. We're like, just keep running it, and we're going to get a layup on these dudes. And sure enough, we would. We would. And you know, that game, everything was rolling for us, and it worked out great at the end. You know, but, you know, you kind of need that in big games.
Yeah.
You know, in the big stage, everything's got to go your way.
And afterwards, did they was it respect at the end? Did they look at you a little differently, you think?
Only one guy shook our hand. That's the coach. The coach was
They're bitter.
very respectful, and I mean, he had a lot of great things to say. Only one player shook our hand, Chris Bosh. And, you know, our guys were pretty excited, and it was just, hey, let's go. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go to the dressing room so we can talk about this. So, I mean, they were pretty excited. Everybody was excited. Everybody, 16,000+ people in the stands.
Well, that was a big upset. I was rooting for you guys the whole way. I remember those days. Where did you graduate?
02.
Oh, we're the exact same age.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So no, we were pulling for you guys. So tell me a little bit about some impactful moments for you guys. Coaching, you know, we have an opportunity to touch a lot of lives, and when you realize it was more than just wins and losses and all of that.
To me, And I'm still trying to do the same thing. It's about building memories. I know these guys that played in Vegas, that'll stick with those guys forever. Playing in the state tournament 2 years in a row, those are the kind of memories that will stick for you forever. If we can do that for our players, that's a great thing to be able to do. So, definitely.
Coach, memories, like you said, yes, I remember everything about that Vegas trip. The whole team, first time on a plane for me. But, I had all my teammates with me and my coaches, my high school principal went, but it's just impactful moments is since coach is here, it's about the support system. One quick story is I went off to college. I went off to community college up in Minnesota to play basketball. And even throughout college, still stayed in contact with coach, even my high school principal. At least once a month, once every other month, they'll give me a call. And so, pretty much stayed healthy, been playing basketball organized since I was in third grade. Really no major injuries. My senior year, I separated my shoulder. That was my first major injury, as an athlete. So I get to college, and I dislocate my shoulder. And I was hurt, man. And, I was dislocated, had to, get it popped in. And I was devastated, man. My freshman year, I'm 18 years old, up in Minnesota. And it happened at basketball practice. And I was just devastated, man. I was like, dude, I came all the way over here to play basketball. And now this, I had to raise money. Family had to raise money to send me up, did all this stuff for me to go to school. And then I get hurt, so I was disappointed. I felt like I disappointed people. And then, family back home, they find out, people. So Coach Bernal calls me. And by that time, I already went to the doctors and stuff, but I'm still down. I've never been hurt before. I didn't know how to act. And so I found out it wasn't too serious. I just had a rehab. Didn't tear nothing. Okay, so, but I was still like, damn, all the way over here for nothing. But then coach told me one thing, he told me to stick it out. And Coach Bernal told me that he's like, you're a college athlete. You're a college basketball player. Listen to your doctors, to your trainers, go through rehab, and get back on the floor. And, when he told me that, I was like, damn, okay. I felt a little better because, like I said, I've never been hurt before. I didn't know what to do. And then I'm by myself, 2,000 miles away, in a different setting. So, but, when he told me that, I kind of believed in myself again. And I was like, okay, I can do this. And so I did. I did my 2 years of college, did all my rehab, got back on the floor, like Coach said. So, when you have that support system, man, you can go pretty far.
Those relationships that you guys.
Yeah, the relationships. They could take you.
Yeah, one of my favorite things is when guys that have graduated year after year and they come back just to say hi, see how you're doing. They'll text. Yeah. It's a lot different now with social media and texting. They'll call and text, and every time I get a message or a phone call or they show up to the gym randomly, I mean, that to me that speaks volumes. It's one of my favorite coach.
Sure. Now you and I, we have some years under our belt. We got the
got a couple. Yeah. So I mean, this is my 6 year as a head coach. I just finished 6. I think you just finished 6, Joseph. So we started some time as a head coach. Bernal's got us by himself.
Right behind you, man.
I'm 35 years old right now. Touching on that, and for both of you guys, even though Coach is just a little older than you, Joseph, what would something that the experienced version of yourself tell the inexperienced version of yourself as a coach, your first year in as a head coach? Some advice you would give yourself.
some advice I give myself is, man, let's say, let me see. What would I tell myself? Just to keep learning. Just to keep learning. You know, like coach, one thing as an athlete, coach would always tell us there's always room for improvement. That's a little phrase Coach Bernal likes to use. And, you know, I started off hot, man. I probably learned more about coaching within the last 2-3 years because we've been struggling at Lanier. You know, when I first took over, I had a good group. It was my whole JV group moved up. And we had a good JV season. Moved up to varsity together my first year when I took over. And so, not saying that it was easy, just things were smooth, man. Me and my kids were clicking. We already had that connection and then carried over to the floor. Then I had them for 2 years, and then they graduated. So I had a brand new group. We weren't clicking. So I had to learn that, and, you know, every group of kids is different. Yeah. And the group that, you know, that's leaving me right now, they're real different. I had to learn a lot. I've learned a lot from them. I had to change some ways as far as the locker room and practice. And it's just, you always got to find ways and you got to adapt. You got to adapt to each group. And that's something that I probably would tell younger self, that you got to pay more attention to your group of kids, because you got to get them to go. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what coaching is about. What can you get those group of kids to do on the floor? Yeah. You know, can they work together? Can they battle together? Can they execute? You know, so just keep learning and not just X's and O's. You know, it's about the kids too. You got to figure them out.
That's awesome. Coach Bernal?
Coach Bernal, what would the Antonian coach right now tell the young Antonian coach?
The young Antonian, like the first guy, the assistant coach. Find a job that pays a lot of
yeah.
You know, coming out of college, you know, you're pretty gung ho, and you don't know what to expect. You're working with people that you never worked with before. But the thing about being an assistant coach is, I know Joseph talked about it earlier, is that you got to do everything you can do to be loyal to your head coach and help him get his job done, because that's what it's all about. Whether you got one assistant, whether you got 3 assistants, they all need to be there for the head coach to make his job easier. And I know I really didn't know that when I first started. You know, I was gung ho. You know, I loved playing the game basketball back then. I still played a lot. But that was the thing. I had never coached before. Mm-hmm. So coaching and having knowledge about being a player are different. So talking about adjusting, you know, in games you've got to adjust as a coach. As a player, you have to adjust in games. You know, whatever the other team is doing, you have to make adjustments. Every year you get a different group, you have to adjust your program, your team, to utilize their strengths and not so much concentrate, you know, making their weaknesses better, but working at what you do well. And, you know, that's definitely what I would tell young guys is be able to adjust to your situation, whether that's being coaching freshmen, coaching the JV, coaching varsity, understanding that adjustment, whether it's high school, middle school, college, professional, that word is so important in the game of basketball, is adjusting. And so I just think that's a real important word to do in basketball.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you guys taking some time out to catch up and talk to us. I know we don't get a whole lot of opportunity to talk while we're on lockdown. So we missed the state tournament, another one of the places to catch up at. TABC is not going to happen, another place where we get to link up and catch and share some stories.
What what do you guys think? What's going to happen in August? I mean, and I'm 65, so I got a little more to worry about than you guys. Luckily I don't have any immunity situations that are hurting my health, but still the fact that I got to be careful. I got grandkids, so I mean, it's important that we take as much precautions as we can.
Absolutely.
Again, I don't know what's going to happen, but I have an idea.
Well, we're gonna have to keep our computers charged. We'll be doing a whole lot of.
Hey,
Well, I appreciate you guys, Coach Martinez. As always, it's a pleasure. I respect what you both do with your programs. Coach Bernal, we appreciate everything you've done for the basketball community. Definitely a legend in our field and profession. So we appreciate you very much.
man, thank you, Marcus. I appreciate you doing this, man.
No problem. No problem.
Stay
If you guys
safe.
need something, give me a call.
All right, yes, sir.
Now be careful.